Topical and atypical. Unfiltered and independent. 100% authentic and intelligent.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm back. We are here at the Amanda Seals. I'm so used to doing the Amanda Seals show. I'm so used to doing the Amanda Seals show that I keep saying we're here at the Amanda Seals show. We are not here at the Amanda Seals show. We are here at Views from Amanda Land. And sorry, my mic is like acting up. But we are here at Views from Amanda Land, and it is a great day. I mean, it's Tuesday. Is it that great? I don't know, but it's a great day. And shout out to everybody who is joining us here. I want to give people a little bit to get into the mix because I know that this is a new thing that they're not necessarily used to. To everybody who is not on YouTube, come on over to YouTube Amanda Seals TV and join us. It is time. It is time. It is time. I would love to hear where you guys are watching from. I was so blown away to see how many people were watching internationally. By the way, can we look at my shirt? I'm a luxury. I'm a luxury. I'm a luxury. Yes.
How black am I gonna
yes,
have
I
to
am. I am a luxury. Yes, I'm your host, Miss Amanda Seals. Please refer to me as Miss Seals when you address me. And if you are telling me where you're from, please do so in the comments here on YouTube. I would also, okay, let's see where some people are from. We got people hitting us up from Philly. We got Jacksonville, Duval. We got Deltona. We got Greensboro, North Carolina. We got Central New York. We have Chicago. Shout out to the Chi. We got DC. We got Phoenix, Arizona. Rich is in New York at work, specifically at work. Good morning, Toronto. Oh, we have Danny is in Cabo. Okay, Mexico. What up, though, Detroit? We also got Dallas, Texas. We got the BX. We got Miami. Bienvenidos a Miami. We got Brooklyn, BK. Okay, we got Kansas. We got Missouri. We got O-Town. That's right. That's the Dr. Phillips High School lanyard right here. We got University Place, Washington, Richmond, Virginia, Indonesia. Y'all, we international. We international. Someone said we got Connecticut, unfortunately. What else? We got Houston. I was on the radio in Houston. It's over. We got Sacramento, Huntsville, Alabama, Denver, Queens, Alexandria, Virginia. Ooh, Memphis, man. We also got London. We have a couple Jolly Londoners. Looks like we have someone from Johannesburg, South Africa. Wow. This warms my heart. And I really love, what? We got Denmark in the building. I just think this is so dope that we have folks that are watching us from all over the world. Malaysia? We worldwide. We worldwide, y'all. We global, which makes sense. It's important. And that's why this show is also global. I think it's incredibly important that we not simply just talk about what's going on in the United States. We have been trained to believe that essentially what happens in the United States is all that really matters. And that is simply incorrect. So I think it's really great that we have so many worldwide folks in here, because that is how we need to be thinking globally. The United States is not the only place in the world. And you, my people, have a whole world that you can extend to. This is not the only place to live. And I want to make sure that on this show, we are expanding our minds. I also want to make sure that while we're on this show that you all are doing a couple things. Please try and watch for at least 20 minutes. That helps with the algorithm and pushing the show. Also, please, if you got a little money in your pocket, drop a super. We also have the Show Your Love segment where we do a Cash App drop. The other part of it is this. Let's say you don't got any bread. You like, Amanda, please, in this economy, like, what do you want from me? Please make sure that you drop a comment. Okay? Drop a comment in the actual video. Here on YouTube, algorithm responds to engagement. So please make sure you drop a comment. And if at any point in the show I'm saying something you like, make sure that you drop a seal. Y'all, we just have somebody said that they're checking in from Bali. I have my mind blown. My mind is blown. Remember, we are here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern with Views from Amandaland. This is my new show that I am starting since my radio show, The Amanda Seales Show, was canceled. And yesterday was our first show, and I just really appreciate all the love like that you guys showed me. I'll talk more about that later. And also, like, someone was like, you have a mic. You're talking so loud. You have a mic. Well, you know what I don't have? An engineer. I don't have an engineer. So I'm trying to figure this out. I put together this show in 4 days. I also have autism. And part of my autism is that when I'm excited, I talk loud. Like, that's a thing. I talk loud. When I'm excited, I'm trying to figure things out. Or when I'm really hyper-focused and I'm doing an information deluge, I talk loud. And if this show is not one thing, it is an information deluge. Okay? As you can see, I'm a little more calm today because I'm getting into the mix of things. But essentially, I want to make it clear, my entire life changed last Tuesday. Like, I had a life that operated a certain way every week for the last 2 years. And then I got a call on a Tuesday at 6:30 that was over. And so the pivot, and I'll talk about this later in my PSA, my public sales announcement, but the pivot requires some adjusting. And so, I'm still not used to like, okay, I got to put the show together the night before and then get up. So, bear with me. I also am in the middle of shipping orders from my store. And so now I'm a little behind on that, but y'all are going to get your stuff. Today's mug is a Grenada mug, an old school Grenada mug. An old school Grenada mug. Okay. So, but to that point, their point about me talking loud was not wrong. I will just tell you this. Constructive criticism comes with kindness. Constructive criticism comes with kindness. So please be kind. I'm a sensitive soul, though I seem thick-skinned. And it hurt that my friends never stood downwind. And oh, the shame, he was ashamed, thought of changing my name. Oh, what's in a name? And I got downhearted. How did you feel every time that Pumbaa, not in front of the kids. You know what's funny is that literally in the 90s, they felt that saying farted on a song was not for kids. And now, like, that's a thing. So anyway, shout out to all my Lion King folks. All right, so let's get into it. We always have to start the show with a word of the day. Now, people, are you kidding me? Hold on one second. I'm still getting used to this. Hold on. Why do you keep calling me? My mom is calling me like she doesn't know that I'm here doing this show. I don't understand why you're calling me. So I want to get into the word of the day, but it looks like even though I loaded up all of the videos here in the StreamYard, the videos went away and disappeared. They disappeared. And I'm like, why is this happening to me? Like, good morning. Okay. So anyways, the word of the day is quagmire. The word of the day is quagmire. I need you to just talk amongst yourselves because I need to fix this immediately. So talk amongst yourselves. China says that they are extending their visas for people to be able to stay in the country longer, do you think that people are going to actually go? Talk amongst yourselves, and I'll play you some music. I'll play you some music while you talk amongst yourselves because I need to fix this. All right. Our word of the day is quagmire. All right, y'all. Quagmire. Quagmire. An awkward, complex, or hazardous situation. A quagmire. Now, do you all know of anybody who's in any quagmires right now that we can throw up on, on the screen? I can name a few folks that is in some serious quagmires right about now. Yeah. I can name some. Let's see if you allow anybody. I want full sentences. You got to put it in a full sentence. I want to see the word used in a full sentence. Here we go. We got Jamaican Emerald Queen. China is in a quagmire to think we Jamaicans will travel and stay there. Love it. Rich said, I always find myself in a quagmire when I don't think before I speak. This is a very real thing. Y'all, think before you speak. All right. Think before you speak. All right. Let's see. Quagmire. Renee said, quagmire equals entanglement. Just kidding. Actually, just accurate. That is very accurate. Miriam said, Diddy is finally in a quagmire in front of the world center stage. Jonathan Wallace, who is very handsome, said the rap community has been in a quagmire all 2024. Ain't that the truth, baby? Ain't that the truth? And let's get one more. Queers and Steers. Jenks, going home for the holidays always results in a quagmire. Yeah. I love seeing you guys use these words in the right usage. Love to see it. Love to see it. So here we are, and it's I got to tell you, it's a lot in the show today. It's a lot in the show today. Let me also say that I'm really like doing my best to give you all like good news, but I have to tell you, there's not a lot of good news. Like, there's literally not a lot of good news. I know that sounds crazy. No, it doesn't. Does it sound crazy? But there isn't a lot of good news. And I'm like scouring for good news to give you. But the best I can do is give you bad news, like in a good way. So that's really what this show is about. Giving you bad news in a good way. But this actually, you know what? Let me say this. I got ahead of myself because I will say that our first segment is actually some good news. Let's get into it.
Blaggering news. Politics. Blaggering news. Pop. Culture. Blaggering news. Sports. Blaggering news. Justice.
Okay, so let's get into our first Blackurate News story of the day, which I think is actually I think it's really positive. So the U.S. Department of Transportation has issued a new rule requiring passengers, requiring airlines to follow more rigorous standards when they are dealing with passengers with disabilities. The new rule will require airlines to meet standards for safe and dignified assistance to people with disabilities, especially those who use wheelchairs. It also mandates annual training for employees and contractors who physically assist passengers and handle wheelchairs. The training must be received by June 17th, 2026. Here's a question. Why wasn't that always the case? That's not weird to nobody else? Why wasn't there always training for dealing with disabled passengers? That doesn't, am I bugging? I feel like this makes no sense that this is something new. Also, they said that the amount of scooters and wheelchairs that have been damaged because folks aren't handling them properly is like some next level mess. And, anybody out here, if you don't necessarily have consciousness about other people, or if you haven't dealt with a disabled person, then maybe you just don't have the concept of this is their mode of transportation. Like that's like someone coming up and beating up your legs. Like somebody just throwing a wheelchair onto the tarmac is like somebody literally just coming and beating up your legs. Like that is your literal necessity for mobility. So the world, like Lindsay said, the world was trained not to care about people with disabilities. This is a true fact, and all kinds of disabilities. And we'll talk about that later. But Pete Buttigieg, who is the head of the Department of Transportation, said every passenger deserves safe, dignified travel when they fly. And we've taken unprecedented actions to hold airlines accountable when they do not provide fair treatment to passengers with disabilities. So, I had to look for like, okay, well, what unprecedented actions is y'all doing? What unprecedented actions is y'all doing? Well, it turns out they recently slapped American Airlines with a $50 million fine after a multi-agency investigation uncovered repeat violations of the rules designed to protect airline passengers who use wheelchairs. Now, people, they're saying this, okay? Now, it's not the airline saying this. It's the Department of Transportation telling us that they gonna make the airlines do this. But we all know that these folks be playing in people's faces, like all the time. They be playing in people's faces. And so here is TikToker Kim the Globetrotting Girly with some tips and tricks on some refunds you can seek as a disabled person.
All right, y'all, it's part 4 and I'm back. It's Kim the Globetrotting Girly, and we're going to talk about those airline refunds for individuals with disabilities and passengers flying with them. For those folks that are differently able, there are some extra refund rights that are related to accessibility. Here are a few. If your seat or your seat class is downgraded and the new class does not have accessibility features that can accommodate your needs, refund. If you're in a situation where there's a different connecting airport, refund. If you're switched to a different aircraft and that aircraft does not have the accommodations that you need, refund. Anything related to accessibility equipment, refund. You have the right to not to continue your travel if there's no accommodations for you. And you also have protections for those that are on the same ticket or flight as you as well, that are traveling together. Because basically, you could be on a group trip, and if the person with the disability decides they want a refund, anybody on that trip that's included in that same ticket batch can get a refund as well. Any communication provided must be clear, can be in multiple methods, and may be in a way that is accessible to the person with the disability. All right, and so just know that you have priority access and priority attention when it comes to those with disabilities. All right, we have one more part 5. 5-part harmony, like the 5 heartbeats. We're going to talk about if the airline doesn't respond and ticket agent rules. See you then.
All right, that is Kim, the Globetrotting Girly. You can follow her on TikTok, and I thought that was really important information that folks would need to know. Speaking of important information that folks would need to know, turns out my mother was calling me because she could not find the link to the show. So I am going to take this moment to send my mother the link to the show. Stand by. Stand by. We are in a fight right now. And so this is her way of connecting with me, watching me on the show. Shout out to all my mothers and daughters. Shout out to everybody raising their parents. Ooh, child. Ooh, child. Shout out to everybody raising their parents. Okay, so let me tell you. Oh my gosh, thank you. So let me tell you, we all know though that the reality is that the world is not set up. The world is not set up for caring about disabled people. It's not set up for caring about disabled people. And the truth is that in America, the United States already has like a lot of infrastructure that can be adjusted to that. But if you think about the islands, let me tell you something. The islands don't really have no big infrastructure to help with disabled people, even though there's always been disabled people everywhere. So I was really happy to see that my people's island of Grenada is making it their business to step up and step into caring more and creating more accessibility for folks with disabilities. So check out, this is Senior Program Officer at Family and Gender Affairs, Jacinta Alexis.
The reality is that we do not fully embrace persons with disabilities. We think of them as some members of the population that is different from us, and they're excluded, for the most part, and marginalized. So our role as duty bearers, our roles as citizens, our role as caregivers is to ensure that we champion the rights and the cause of persons with disabilities.
I'm with it. I'm with it. And they celebrated like a whole International Disabilities Day. There was a parade. I saw them creating the ability for disabled folks in wheelchairs and stuff to go in the water. So I was really happy to see that for all my Grenadians. So big up all Grenada people, big up all my Spice Island people out there. And the Spice Island is a small island with big talent, a small island with big talent. So I was really happy to see that. So that was our first story. For anybody out there who is disabled, I would love for you to drop anything in the comments about your experience, and I'll read them later in the show. I'll read them later in the show because I just think it's important that we make it our business to highlight folks that continuously get pushed to the margins. All right, to the margins. But here we got some comments. S Baby Blues says, honestly, it just comes down to empathy. So many things I took for granted, didn't consider before becoming disabled. Right. And Carmen Villa says, we forget we're all one fall, one accident, illness from being disabled. And Danny adds, and for those of us who aren't disabled, we aren't invulnerable. Life is fragile. So let's make more strides for accessibility. And, let's consider that accessibility can show up in different ways. That disability can show up in different ways. So we have Moment with Mel asked, does depression count? And I think that, yes, it does. Mental health is a disability. The inability to get the hell out of goddamn bed because your chemicals in your brain are telling you to kill yourself is a disability, at least here on Views from Amanda Land. So there's that. Let's get into our next story. I need y'all to know that I'm wearing this sweater. It is so hot in this damn house. Not that I'm complaining, because I do love a toasty house, but good Lord, I'm sweating over here, y'all. I'm sweating. I am sweating. Oh, we just hit 500 viewers. Yeah.
How black am I gonna have to get?
500 viewers. We love it. All right. Our next story is death to the grocery monopoly. Debt to the grocery monopoly. So Lena Khan, who is the current commissioner of the Federal Trade Commission here in the United States, may have just completed her final curtain call before she's inevitably replaced by a Trump stumper next year. Kroger's grocery stores were about to do a $24.6 billion merger with Albertsons. And the FTC was like, hold up. Wait, like, we think this is going to be bad business for the people. First of all, I don't know about y'all, but like, I did not know that Kroger's was really popping like that. And maybe it's because like I've only lived on East and West Coast, and like Kroger's is not like a big deal in New York. It's not a big deal in California, or at least in LA. So I did not know, but honey child, Kroger's was trying to build up a fleet. If they had made this happen, they would have owned 40 supermarket chains, 5,000, why did I say it like that? 40 supermarket chains, 40 supermarket chains, 5,000 shops, 4,000 retail pharmacies, and they would have had 700,000 employees. For context, that's 7 times the population of Grenada. Okay, that's 7 times the population of Grenada. This would have meant they would have gone buck wild with prices, y'all. That's what would have happened. They would have gone buck wild with prices. These are the same folks that want to install, and they're still working on this. They want to install electronic price tickets on their items so that they can change prices in the event of a surge. And you're like, well, what's a surge, Amanda? Is surge like that drink that they used to sell in the vending machines at your middle school when they absolutely shouldn't have, because they were giving everybody a sugar rush? A surge is when the necessity for an item goes up, and so they want to charge more for it. So remember in that little panini that we had, the pandemic, where people were like, oh my God, we need water and we need toilet paper. They would have been able to instantaneously make those prices go up by necessity. In regard to necessity. Now, let me just tell you, supply and demand is an interesting economic concept in the sense that ultimately, as the demand grows, the supply is supposed to lessen, and that's what makes the price go up. But the truth is that in this world of consumerism, as demand grows, supply grows. So the actual price should not be going down because the scarcity is not real. They just be creating the concept of scarcity to make it seem like, oh, this is why the price needs to go up. Why is lobster so expensive? Well, because they've created scarcity by fishing the goddamn waters out of it. But ultimately, like, diamonds aren't really scarce like that. They just created a scarcity. And they're doing that with all of these different things to make the prices go up. But the truth is, honey, this is not a real thing. This is not a real thing. And Albertsons is mad. Someone had asked, why is Albertsons mad? Albertsons is mad because Albertsons was going to get bought by Kroger's. They were going to get bought by Kroger's, and it was going to be some crazy deal, the $24.6 billion merger, and now they can't. And so Albertsons is like, well, we thought we was going to get paid. No, Albert's wrongs. I want you to also hear this. A recent report states that 75% of Kroger's employers, are you listening? I need you to listen. 75% of Kroger's employees are paid so little, they face food insecurity. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. How you working at a grocery store facing food insecurity? Explain it. Someone explain it to me. That's insanity. Okay? They did a report and 75%. And by the way, like, a lot of Kroger's employees are protesting all over the nation. And Quantum, who's Kroger's CEO, don't be asking them type of questions. Don't be asking them type of questions on this show. Don't be asking them type of questions on this show. You're trying to get us out of here. Listen, I will tell you this. if that merger had gone through, it would have been incredibly detrimental to the laborers at Kroger's, because it would have meant that there's so much power and they control so many brands and so many franchises that it would have been much more difficult for folks to figure out how to unionize. I want to also point out to you, though, another part of the issue with monopolies. Aside from growing prices, the issue with monopolies also is that it means something is all housed under one roof. So when we saw the baby food shortage at the beginning of the pandemic, and we saw this IV shortage that happened on the heels of Hurricane Helene, it was not because there weren't enough places in the world that make these items. It was because in the United States, there's a monopoly on these items. So there was only like 3 factories that made baby formula in the United States. I don't know what it is now, but during the pandemic, there was 3 factories that made baby formula, and 2 of those factories shut down due to the pandemic. And so that's why there was a shortage on baby formula. Also, because those factories shut down also because of, I think it was E. coli. Yeah. So if you only have a certain amount of places making something and you have an entire population reliant on it, how does this make sense? Hurricane Helene destroyed one of only 2 factories that makes IV fluid. IV fluid is literally like saline with some things in it. Why are there only 2 factories that make this? Because if they can achieve a monopoly, they can make more money by cornering the market. And I mean, listen, I dated enough drug dealers to know that there's only so much cornering of the market you can do without there being an issue. I no longer date drug dealers. I'm healed now. But I also want to say this, y'all. These mergers and acquisitions and monopolies, they make life harder for the majority, but there are some store mergers that have been helpful that I want to make note of. To all my New Yorkers, if you live in New York City, you know about the merger of the Chinese restaurant and Dominican food spot. You know about it. You know about it. Here in New York City, there are Chinese restaurants that are combined with Dominican spots. And you literally will have a woman taking your order who is an actual person who speaks Mandarin, but then she will be like, okay, so you want the beef and broccoli, but then you also want the mangú and the mori soñando, and you're like, yeah. And then she will yell to the person the order, but she will say it in perfect Mandarin, and then she will say it in perfect Espanol. And if you're wondering, why is America so behind? It's because of simple stuff like this that we could never really grasp, okay? The level of duality and triality involved. She's taking my order in English, then she's yelling in Mandarin, then she's yelling in Spanish, okay? Dímelo, papi, dímelo. Let's also acknowledge, and this is in every hood, the corner store that sells you everything. And you're like, well, Amanda, Target is a corner store. No, it's not. No, it's not, because you have to actually do a lot of traveling to get to Target sometimes. The corner store where you can buy condoms, milk, a phone card, and Tim's, like that is a unique place of existence. The bodega. And it's a petting zoo because they have a cat. They always have a cat, okay? And if you're really on your on your goodness, because I can't curse, so I have to find other words. If you're really on your ish, then you also use this as an opportunity to learn another language. If your bodega is run by someone of another cultural ethnicity, then you are slipping if you are not learning Arabic, if you are not learning Farsi, if you are not learning Mandarin, if you are not learning Spanish. I used to be up in there talking to Aki, and he'd be like, Khafalek. I'm like, Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum assalam. So listen, the bodega is a place of all types of mergers. And if you are not utilizing that in your experience, then baby, you're playing yourself. You're playing yourself. Now, one merger that I feel like was actually very harmful to the people was the merger of Target and Starbucks.
Okay,
Because you're already going up in Target and spending money that you don't want to spend because you went there for one thing and now you bought 11 things. So you already went up in there to spend money you didn't want to spend. And then They had the nerve to hit you with coffee that is overpriced for what it is on their way out. Like, don't nobody need that. Don't nobody need that. Now, of course, we are actively boycotting Starbucks because 1, they don't let their employees unionize. 2, they don't let their employees represent Black Lives Matter or Palestine. So, and 3, like, they still have their stuff in Israel. So the reality of Starbucks is not a thing for many of us, but at one point in time, yes, Miss Tiff just nailed it. It is a $100 trip to Starbucks with a $10 drink. And $1 trip to Target with a $10 drink. And you're just like, what did I come here for? Oh, didn't even know this. Miss WC Reader said, and Starbucks uses slave labor. So we not on it. We not on Starbies. Okay. We are not on Starbies. So I think it's really good though that this merger didn't go through, and I'm really glad because that would have been a bit of a situation. And we already know that things are going to go really left really quickly on January 21st. We already know that. Well, actually on day 1, he keeps saying day 1. So on January 20th, things are going to go really left really quickly. We already know that. So we have to prepare ourselves. And that's what we do here at this show. You know, I come here, I tell you things that I feel like you need to know, not just for your own knowledge base, but also for your own sanity. And so that's why I think it's so important for y'all to show your love, show your love, show your love, show your love. I said, hit me in the Cash App, baby. Hit me in the Cash App, baby. Show your love, show your love. Leave a comment, drop a super. Yeah, 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 yeah. You guys, James Bland is watching. Okay, I need y'all to understand something. We got to pause in the show. We got to pause in the show because James Bland is my heart and soul. James Bland is one of my favorite people on the goddamn planet. And when I got let go from the show, I knew that I needed to call one person, and I called James Bland. And the way James Bland poured into Yo Guru, the way James Bland will sit here on the phone with me and pitch like, okay, so what if we do this? So what if we do this? And James Bland was the director for my first web series, Get Your Life, and also the director for my documentary, In Amanda We Trust, which you can purchase at my Patreon. So we need to shout out James Bland, who is an incredible writer, director, performer, artist, person, friend, partner, Black man. He's all them things. And he's fine. Another applause for fineness. And he fine. Y'all know I don't play about a jingle though. So again, show your love. If you have a Cash App, if you have the supers, drop them. Or you can always just make sure that you leave a comment in the actual comments, not just on the chat, but in the actual comments, because that is how the algorithm is going to move. Okay. That is how the algorithm is going to move. And just for the record, Iman said, just Googled him. All true. Cause James is fine. Okay. James is all of that. Okay. All that. So, let's get into, you know, we needed something positive. And so, so we need something positive. And so, you know what? That's what I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you something positive. Stand by, because it's coming your way in 5, 4, 3, 2, one and a one and a half, 1 3/4. And remember when we would do 1.5 and 1 3/4, and you're just like, what are we really doing here? What are we really doing? Why all of this? Why all of this? Dang. Okay. This is hard, y'all. This is like really hard. I'm not even fronting. Like I'm gonna have this down pat in 2 weeks, but boy, oh boy. Until then, this is really hard, making sure that I have all my production elements in place, because I be thinking I have them all in place and then I don't. And I'm like a perfectionist. Oh, let me also say while I'm fixing this that I really appreciate how many people were like, Amanda, yesterday's show was a great show. Do not be hard on yourself. Because y'all know I'm like, it's not perfect. It's not perfect. And yeah, I went to therapy for that. But in the meantime, in between time, let's do this.
Story of Black joy.
Let's hit it one more time.
Joy.
3 times.
A story of Black joy. A story of Black joy. A story of Black joy.
Okay, we did it. A story of Black joy. Let's get into a story of Black joy. Now, this young man, okay, Travis Hunter. Look at that smile. That's a smile of a winner, y'all. Travis Hunter is him. Now, if you don't know who Travis Hunter is the first HBCU football player to win the esteemed Heisman Trophy. He was at Jackson State University, where he was coached by Coach Prime. Then he went over to Colorado with Deion Sanders, and then he won the Heisman Trophy. But let me also point this out. He is also the first All-American since Tim Tebow to win it. Let's not leave that out, okay? Because in order to be an All-American, that's your grades. He's the first All-American since Tim Tebow to win the Heisman. He plays both cornerback and wide receiver and still found time to get them grades in. Now, some people said they're sick of him. I'm not ever sick of watching a young Black man succeed. I don't ever get tired of that. And to succeed at something that he has put time and work in, as well as that his family has had to put time and work in. And I know that some of you all may be sick of him, but let me tell you why you need to know about him. Because on December 24th, on the December 2020 day that Travis stunned college football, it was because he had announced he was going to an HBCU instead of one of these D1 schools that were chasing after him. And what this did was it immediately changed the idea that you can't be successful in sports by going to an HBCU. This is very important, particularly in these times where we are about to see a lot of these schools defunded. I don't know if you all understand this, but when you see them trying to pass this bill about nonprofits that support terrorism, there's a whole other layer to that. So let me explain this really quickly. Colleges are nonprofits. Even private universities are nonprofits. You know, Harvard is a nonprofit. It's a 501c3. Now, yes, they have endowments, and that's where they get their private money from. But I mean, and they get, funding, but they are considered nonprofits. So when you see schools that actually supported students who were doing encampments in defense of Palestine, that is going to be a way that they defund colleges. And as you know, this nation is actively making an effort towards privatizing everything. So now it will create a market for these millionaires to create schools that you have to pay for, but that they don't have any connection to the federal government to. Because once it has a connection to the federal government, now you have to explain things, et cetera, et cetera. So all colleges are tax exempt, but that's something that can be changed at any time by Congress, et cetera. So when we see HBCUs, I promise you, any Black people here who think that this America, this regime, this government has a special place in their heart to protect you, you better check yourself, because you are wrecking yourself. All right. This young man was being chased by Ohio State, Alabama, Texas. I mean, these are huge football powerhouses. Okay, these are full football powerhouses. Let me stop first real quick, because some people didn't know what makes a nonprofit. Essentially, a nonprofit is a corporation that doesn't have to pay taxes. You end up having to report a lot more of your earnings, because there's supposed to be some mitigation of the fact that you're not paying taxes. But at the end of the day, it's really just a tax classification that allows you to not have to pay taxes. Okay. So this brother, I want to just give him props. Now, as if he can't just get props for like his work, because that's not enough. In these days, there's always a distraction. So his little girlfriend took some heat, okay? She's a Chicana. She's a Mexican little girl. And she took some heat because folks felt like she took way too long to stand up when he won his Heisman. You be the judge. Black, Mexican, and Filipina, because I only see her with a Mexican flag. I mean, I went and, I do my research, and I only seen her with a Mexican flag. I ain't never seen her with an RBG flag, and I ain't never seen her with a Filipino flag. So, but she multicultural. Anyways, people were so heated, and y'all, she did like an 8-minute video. She not shy. She did an 8-minute video basically saying like, you guys are haters. You guys are haters. You guys are haters. Which is fine. But we're not gonna do any more attention to her, because we need to give his mama the mic. All right? Because that's who really got him here. His mama. So let's take a listen to Ferrante Harris talking about her son.
I'm serious, so it's like, I love the person that he is, but I'm also grateful that because what they said was my biggest mistake turned out to be the biggest blessing. So that just goes to show you, you can make mistakes, but that does not define who you are. And I'm so excited for him, but I'm also so excited for all the people that's behind him, all the people that look up to him and see that he is just, you can do it. It doesn't matter if you fall, get back up. You only fail when you stop. And he didn't. Now look at him. Well, I just want to say, this is for the strong moms out there, because you have just spoken truth to all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We love to see it. We love to see it. And I think it's really these videos, these interviews with the moms that are so necessary, because listen, that football life is a different life, y'all. Sports athletes' life is a different life. For real. Okay? So shout out to Travis Hunter. That's our story of Black joy. Y'all still with me? Where you at? Whoever's watching, we up to 628 folks watching in this live. I want to remind you all that you can actually get more of this content by going to subscribe at the SEAL Squad at Patreon. All right. I'm a little off this week, but normally we have a morning musings. I share more stuff from my life, like my personal life, but I also do some commentary that we don't do on this show. And we will actually have bonus segments from this show that will exist on Patreon. So if you haven't thought of subscribing to Patreon, do so. Also, if you haven't thought of checking out my one-woman show, What Would the Ancestors Say? It is also available at Patreon, also available at Patreon. So let's get into our 60-second headlines. Oh, man. So again, always trying to find some good news for you. Always trying to find some good news for you. Actually, Erica Miller, you're right. There should be 600. Y'all, take this moment to do your likes. I'm going to sip some tea and you take this moment to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to play some music for you while you do this. Take this moment to like, comment, and subscribe. Okay. Did we all do it? Did we all do it? No, you can't leave your comment in the chat. Your comment got to be in the comments. Your comment got to be in the comments. Okay. Shayla came over from Instagram. I'm not going to be doing this Instagram live thing at the same time all the time. I'm just doing this in the beginning until y'all figure it out. Okay. Until y'all figure it out. Oh, hold on, because I always post a compliment. Thank you, Charmaine. Charmaine Paramore sounds like the name of like an epic character in a sweeping novel. Just so you know, if you haven't done that, do it. Or a fragrance. Oh, what is that? Oh, I'm just wearing Charmaine Paramore. Yes, honey. Okay. So, let's get into our 60-second headlines. The 15-year-old female student who opened fire at the Abundant Life Christian School in Madison, Wisconsin. So there's been another school shooting. It's left one student and one teacher dead and 6 injured, including 2 people who are facing life-threatening conditions. The shooter died of a self-inflicted gunshot. Let me also add, this is a K-12 school, serves about 420 students. A second grader called to report the shooting. A second grader called to report the shooting. So Ricky said, I thought it was 3 dead and she was 17. You know, to be honest, you might be right. I feel like the news just jumps, it just hop skips, and depending on where you get information from, it might not be the same. So you might very well be right. I just want to bring to your attention that the concept of gun control and safety is something that we like to pin on Republicans. But the truth is that the NRA has bought out Congress. And there are laws that could be passed to curtail and curb the massive amount of gun ownership and gun usage and even gun training. There are laws that can be passed to improve mental health. There are laws that can be passed to create just a better society. And it doesn't happen because all of those things are counterproductive to capitalism and wealth gain on a basic money level. Virgin Poppy, I completely agree with you. The current American landscape is 100% unsustainable. Every layer of our existence here is laced with harm, either to the global south or someone in a town over. And when we look at what happened with Luigi Mangione taking out his frustration in a very real way with violence against the CEO of of United Health. That is not a isolated, he was just mad. That's just another version of this. We don't know what this young person was dealing with, and we don't know why she was upset, but her methodology was, the only way I'm going to get this handled is violence, because that is the American way. And when people preach to you about nonviolence, they are not preaching to you about getting things changed. I will tell you, any law that has been passed in America that's been so-called for the benefit of Black people has always been done on the heels of violence. It has always been done as a result of violence. That doesn't mean that I'm saying, okay, we need to be violent, but what it means is that on a basic cause and effect meter, that is the trend. And that lets you know where the seed of change exists in this nation, where the seed of power exists in this nation. It'd be great if the way that we got things changed was by eating Jolly Ranchers. I'd be there. I was there when the Green Apple Jolly Rancher dropped. But unfortunately, that's not the case. So I just think it's really important that we acknowledge that this young person, whatever they're going through, they just took the lives of people. They just changed the lives of people forever. All of these children will now be victims forever. We have no idea at present what the cause of this was, but we do know that ultimately it was preventable. I strongly believe that any of these school shootings were preventable. They were preventable. And the parents were apparently like shooting with her. But this is the American way. And I know that a lot of folks don't really think outside of the United States. And that's something that's imperative that we do on this show, that we talk about outside of America, because we have been tricked to think that this is the only way to live. And there's many other places that do not exist like this. They don't live like this. They don't. Okay? They don't live like this. So I don't want to hear nobody talking about T's and P's. I don't want to hear nobody talking about thoughts and prayers, because you're killing me. Now I told you this was going to be a long show today because it's 10:57 and we not even through 60-second headlines. Okay, so next story. Investigative journalism site ProPublica just released a report that United Health, yes, that same place that employed the CEO, Free Luigi, is strategically limiting access to critical treatment for kids with autism. So we just did a story about a young person who, for whatever reason, felt the need to go rogue. And now here's the next story about an insurance company that is actively limiting access to critical treatment for children. The answer is yes, Ross. I'm saying it's okay to file separations from America. It's an abusive relationship. Yes. So leaked internal documents show that the insurance giant is culling providers of applied behavior analysis from its network and scrutinizing the medical necessity of therapy. Advocates say the company's strategy may be illegal. For the record, once I get more accustomed to this schedule and I have a bit more ability to manage my time, I'll be giving you guys my sources. I'll be giving you the links to these sources so that you can go and check out these articles yourself, because it's imperative that you don't just stop here with me. Yes, I may be bringing you information. Yes, I may be bringing things to your attention that you never thought about or that you didn't know about. However, I expect you to take that information and to then take it a step further and to go do your own research, but like for real, because people say that and they don't really mean that. So that's what I expect you to do. I expect you to take this information and go and synthesize it for yourself and come up with new connections. Okay. Come up with new intellect. That's what intelligence is the continuance of the information into new praxis, synthesizing it into new ways. And at the end of every month, we're going to have the monthly review. And I'm going to bring folks up here and y'all are going to get tested on stories that we have talked about over the whole course of the month. And somebody's going to win a prize. Yes. So, y'all ask, why do I want you to call me Miss Seals? Because we in class, okay? Because we are in class. Okay. I don't know if y'all heard about this, but there's a did you know that 4-day school weeks is a thing? I don't know if you knew about this, but more rural school districts are moving to a 4-day week to attract and retain teachers. I don't know. I just thought if you just paid them what they deserve and actually gave them the resources to teach and did not harangue every minute of their day, that would probably actually be helpful in attracting and retaining teachers. I don't know. Maybe I'm bugging. I don't know. That seems to me like that would probably do it. Yeah, that would probably do it. So proponents of a 4-day school week argue that it offers several benefits, including cost savings, improved student attendance, and increased teacher morale. By reducing the number of school days, schools can save money on transportation, food, and energy costs. What? There isn't a shortage of money. There isn't a shortage of money. They're literally undermining. I mean, I'm not even mad at the 4-day school week, but I think if you have a 4-day school week, there has to be a 4-day work week. Like, how does that work? If you have a 4-day school week, but you have a 5-day work week, that's just another bill. Because now parents have to pay for childcare for that extra day. Okay, Rich is talking about, has anyone watched the Bored Teachers podcast? That's what they talk about. Pay increase so they don't need multiple jobs to live. Like, I feel like it's a crazy concept. Zany. And, you know, a lot of this is, and there's a great like speech by Noam Chomsky about this, but a lot of this is just, again, the effort to privatize schools. All right? If we make it so that public school is not practical, then we can privatize it. Now, for the record, Colorado, Oregon, Oklahoma, Missouri, Texas, Arkansas, and Montana already have some 4-day school weeks. And Iceland, Japan, and France are among the countries that have begun to adopt a 4-day week in some sectors, with that extra day typically being allotted on either Wednesday or Friday, or being left to the individual's discretion. Yeah, being left to the individual's discretion. So I thought that was quite interessante. And I don't have kids, so I don't know how much that would affect people, but I have a feeling that the 4-day, I agree with you, Mac Mama, too. We need to change the normal 5-day, 40-hour work week anyway. That was created by Henry Ford. Like, that's the thing is, like, so many of us just do stuff because we think like that's just what it is and it can't ever change. But like, it's just like, why would we not change it? It's not valid anymore. So why would we not change it? Why would we not change it? We need to change it. And you know what we need to do right now? We need to change from 60-second headlines, and we need to get into today's Big Up Let Down. But first, you know, let's just take another moment. Okay. Sometimes my brain needs a little break. Sometimes my brain needs a little break. So remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And remember that what I'm doing here is fully funded by yours truly. Yes. So if you feel the need, if you feel compelled, if I say something that makes you say, God damn, you know what? Let me throw some bread on that. Please do so. Please do so, because your girl lost her job. I lost it. Yeah, I lost my job. Okay. Let's get into today's big up.
Big up, big up.
Okay, y'all. This is y'all like, why is she talking about sexy time and a whale? Like, what are we talking about? Okay. A male humpback whale has made an extraordinary journey from South America to Africa, traveling more than 13,046 kilometers. The longest migration recorded for a single whale, a new study found. The intrepid marine giant's trek also marks the first documentation of an adult male humpback traveling between the Pacific and Indian Oceans. This was all for the purpose of breeding, y'all. This was all for the purpose of breeding. Now, humpback whales typically return to the same breeding areas every year, but this male said it's not enough. It's not enough. Y'all can't hold me. It's not enough. This whale said, I'm going to have a whale of a time, and went between two separate breeding populations in different oceans. In different oceans? This is why this gets the big up. I do a big up let down every day where I give props for some dopeness and blows for some dumbness. I'm just giving this whale props for diligence, okay? For dedication. I mean, someone said, is it a passport, bro? Is it a passport, bro? Thank you, Jan Beauty 098280. Miss Maya G said, that's the longest relationship I ever heard one. Okay. Like Mac Mama 2 said, wow, that female whale must have put it down. That female whale must have put it down. Listen, I got to tell y'all, I have to ask y'all, how far have you ever traveled for sexy time? How far have you traveled for sexy time? I want to know. How far have you traveled for sexy time? I will start with myself, okay? So this may not seem like far for y'all, but if you lived in New York ever, then you understand. Traveling from the Pacific Ocean to the Mediterranean or whatever ocean he was in, like that's a big deal. But I once got myself up out my bed and got in a cab I couldn't pay for. I couldn't even afford this cab, but I took the cab. I got in this cab and I went from Harlem on the hill, 151st on the hill, to Nostrand in Brooklyn. Come on. That's a ride. But of course, y'all got me beat. Okay? Y'all got me beat. Now, the person who has us all beat is the astronaut lady who put on the diaper and drove across the nation. Okay? So let's just say that's who got us beat. But for what it's worth, you all may have this whale beat. Okay? Because Adrian said, far. I crossed the Atlantic. Now, Coral Neon has some worth about them. They said driving 2 hours is max for me. Fair enough. But Me and Tool Health said Florida, New Orleans by car. Now see, Florida, New Orleans by car. That's really next level. Like was it love? Was it love? S. James 23 said, I caught a flight from DC to Houston. It's the catching of the flight to me, because basically it was a decision that you had to make and you caught it like somebody threw a ball at you and you had to catch it before it hit your face. Let me catch it and move. Vanessa Martinez said, drove from Connecticut to New York. 2 hours. 2 hours. You guys. What is this? Kristen says she drove from Detroit to, I don't even know what STE.Marie is, but it seems like it's very far. It seems like it's very far. But in true New York fashion, Shayla McKinnon said, I traveled from Manhattan to Queens. And anybody who lives in New York understands that this is the equivalent. This is the equivalent to catching a flight. This is the equivalent to catching a flight. But our winner is... Our winner is Lorraine Richardson McCrae. Lorraine Richardson McCrae. Good sis traveled from New York to Ghana. New York to Ghana. Oh, wait. Lorraine, you've been unseated. Denise traveled from LA to Switzerland. That means you crossed a nation and an ocean. A nation and an ocean. God dang. So, big ups to you all. I'm not going to call it thirst. I'm just going to call it dedication. Yeah, I'm going to call it dedication. I'm not going to call it thirst. I'm going to call it dedication, because the reality is that sometimes you got to do what you got to do to get done. What a time. I would never do that at this age. Never. I would never do that at this age. Let's get into our letdown. Okay. Y'all. So folks have been saying Drake is off, but these CEOs have got him beat. New York Governor Kathy Hochul, her office is convening a safety summit. And CNN anchor Casey Hunt reports that the state, quote unquote, may set up a special hotline just for CEOs. I'm sorry, what? Yes. Why would these people put all this money into a hotline? With the wage theft that they are committing, these folks can afford security. At least pay somebody else if you ain't gonna pay us. Now, I also feel like they did not see the tape, because Luigi was in that whole like John Wick, Blade, Neo, I have special skills, Batman. There was no stopping that situation. I mean, I guess if a security guy was there, they could have, but they probably would have got murked too. So I feel like this is what they would get. Like if they called a New York like CEO hotline. Why did this connect to something? If they called a New York CEO hotline, okay, I feel like these headphones are connecting to something, and that scares me. I don't know what they're connecting to, but I don't like it. This is what the hotline would be. I really be in here cracking myself up. Hello, CEO hotline. Wait, hold on, wrong accent. Let me get to New York. There we go. There we go. There we go. That's the New York CEO hotline. Hello, CEO hotline. Mm-hmm. You in trouble? Where you at? Why you even over there? Oh my God, is you dumb? Why would you be even over there? You a CEO. Like, you got all this money, you got all this time, and you gonna be over there? Like, you know what? That don't even make no sense. Fix your tone. You call me. Fix your tone. Anyways, so where you at? Oh, they got dogs over there. You better run. That is what it would be like. That is what calling the New York CEO the New York CEO hotline would be like. So I think this is a silly idea and a silly plan. Okay. I think it's a silly plan, but that's our letdown. These CEOs got all the money in the world and they shook. But guess what? You know what the lyric says in the classic Mobb Deep record, Shook Ones? Son, they shook. Ain't no such thing as halfway crooks. Scared to death and scared to look, they shook. And that's what these CEOs are. Halfway crooks. If you gonna be a crook, know that you could get yours the same way you giving it. That's the reality. But instead, they be out here thinking that they're invincible, and that's not it. You not El Chapo. Get out of here. No. And thank you, Jordy. You were a paid actor in that sketch. Jordy was a paid actor in that sketch. All right. If you have not pressed like, please do so. We are getting to the end of the show. So if you have not pressed like, please do so. But let's do a little something like this. How black do you feel today? Hey. One more time. How black do you feel today? Hey. How black do y'all feel today? By the way, someone in here was asking, like, are you going to have guests? Are you going to have co-hosts? I'm not going to have co-hosts. I don't need a co-host. I am enough. I'm enough. I don't need a co-host. It was lovely when I had a co-host, but I don't need a co-host. I will have guests. We are on literally day 2 of the show. So there is something to be said for just kind of like going with the flow, you know? Just go with the flow. Take it as it is. If you like it, stick around. If you don't, get it, let go. But you don't need to know the every move that's going to happen. You don't need to know. Just stick around and wait for what happens and see if you like it or not. There's that. How black do I feel today? I feel Jackson 5 dancing. Doom, doom, doom. She's a machine. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. I feel Jackson 5 dancing machine black because the way that I have been pivoting is bonkers. The pivot that your girl has been in is more. It's like, I don't know if you've ever seen the video of when the Jackson 5 was on Cher's show and they were dancing and Cher tried to hit a little something and Michael Jackson had to show her, do not play in my face on this stage, and had to completely overtake her on her own show. It was like when Eminem kicked that verse on Renegade on Jay-Z's Blueprint album and he literally killed him on his own song, which Nas then referenced in Ether. Yes, it was like that. Like, that's the level of pivoting I feel. Okay, I'm really over here like, oh, y'all took my job. I make a new show. Y'all took my stuff. I'm gonna have to go. Y'all don't want to pay me for small doses anymore. I'll just go independent. That's how we gonna go. It's just really pivoting. Like, it's really that. It's really that. Yes, it's really that. Because now I have to do a video after this because people are like, where's my Harriet Tubman pin? And I'm like, I lost my job and I had to make up a whole show in 4 days. And so we a little behind. Please bear with me. Bear with me. Bear with me. I'm going to the post office. By the way, after this, I have to do Small Doses podcast because it don't stop. I'm not complaining by any means. I'm not complaining. I feel really honored and lucky to be able to have this many avenues that I have fostered and created and poured into that I could lean back into them when people lean out of me. Okay. I'm not complaining, but the blackness I feel today is Jackson 5 Dancing Machine Black. How black do you feel today? Adrian said, I feel black elder in the church. I need my, oh, you said you need a fan? What you know about a fan? What you know about a church fan? What you know about a church fan? This is the What Would the Ancestors Say church fan that we made for the live stream that took place in November. Yes. Oh, man. How black do y'all feel today? How black do y'all feel today? Kristen said, she a fan, she a fan, she a fan. She a fan, she a fan, she a fan. All right. Let's see how black do y'all feel today. Jupiter Queen said, I feel like that Jill Scott clip black. Just so black. Okay, so I didn't know this. I can do this? I can schedule USPS to come pick it up? Thank you, Tanya. Y'all be putting me on game. Y'all be putting me on game. Small Dose is on every podcast platform. It's been on there for 6, almost 7 years in February. All right, let me see. We got any more black? How black we feel today? Sister Sledge. I feel Sister Sledge. We are family. Hey, where's my mic? I'm trying to sing. Y'all, when I'm about to sing, I need my mic. We are family. Hey. By the way, this is the same mic that I used when I recorded my HBO comedy special, I Be Knowing. Also, by the way, it's so funny when people be like, you're not a comedian. And I'm like, I've made an entire career being a comedian. Cut it out. Maya Angelou Black. Tired, but still I rise. And you know what? I will close this segment with what James Bland, who joined us in the chat earlier, said. He sent me a message today when I sent him the first episode, and he said, just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like hopes springing high, Amanda Seals will rise. I will. Man. Well, I hope you had as good a time as I did on today's show. It's always like when you start something, you're never sure like what's the next day going to be like. Shout out to everybody who has joined us. Make sure that when we get off of here that you go back into the comments and leave a comment and spread the word about this show. If you're over here and you are watching on Instagram, this is not going to be a daily thing. You will be able to come and join the show Monday through Wednesday because that's what we do. But before we go, I got to hit y'all with my public seals announcement, the PSA. Because I want to make sure that you are poured into before we finish the day. So I just want to thank you all for literally saying congratulations on your new show. This was really encouraging on where we have the possibility of going as a culture. Because folks in the past, I feel like would have said, oh, you fell off. Oh, you got let go, you fell off. But you all said, oh, she's creating her own? Nah, she fell up. She's charting her course. And I think that so many of us don't give ourselves enough of that grace and don't give each other enough of that grace. And so I want to encourage us to constantly reimagine and reconsider the habits that we have around what is considered failure and what is considered loss. And also assessing for our own selves what we consider to be success, what we consider to be elevation. I am 43 going on 44. I've been in this business for a super duper duper long time. And that has changed over the course of that time. I did have to get credits from other sources in order to get to this position. And that is a part of the process. And that was a part of my process. I did have to be an employee in certain spaces to get to being able to truly, truly have enough financial and mental fortitude to be my own boss. And you all seeing that and bigging that up is really encouraging to me also, because I know that means that you are doing that outside of yourselves. You're doing that to other folks. And we have to do that because as we are watching the structure of corporations and capitalism fall, we know that means that there are certain mental structures that we have inadvertently been conditioned to believe that are also going to fall. And we need to be the soft landing for each other. So thank you all for being the soft landing for me. All right, that's the end of the show. Yay! Hope everybody had a great day. Remember, a great show. I hope everybody has a great day. We will be here tomorrow, same time, same place, Monday through Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Remember to support a real one. Join the SEAL Squad. Remember to like, press a like. Press a like. Press a like. Press like. Press like. Press like. Last thing I wanted to say is I got to big up everybody who bought supers. So, when you guys buy a super, I can't let that go. I gotta make sure that I show my love back to you all showing love to me. So let's talk about these supers. We got Christine Bark, super sticker. Kimberly Parkhurst, super sticker. We got JT001. I've got to get going, but I'll definitely be sure to watch the rest of this later today. Actually, that's a great point. Rewatch. That's an amazing way to help this show grow. Rewatch. Even if you don't actually rewatch, just turn it on and go about your day. Okay? Adrian Quintero, thank you. Also, Kristalena Van Aken, thank you. Lorraine Richardson McCrae. Lorraine went from New York to Ghana to get her some, y'all. So she got $20 for me. Whoo, child. All right. We also got Ria Madiani. I hope I pronounced that name. Mira J76. Thank you to Nia. Thank you to Chakra Q Guru. Also, Sandra Seeley, Eric Miller. Thank you to Carol F. Oh my God, there were so many. I don't know if I can get through it. Hold on. Where I'm at. Stephanie Lynn, Miss Tiff, Kimberly again, Kimberly, I appreciate you. Yes, the job lost you. Thank you to all of you for showing love and supporting. We will be here tomorrow again, and everyone have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of your day, and understand that everybody going through something. So if somebody pisses you off today, just be like, may the force be with you.
Amanda Land.
Smart, funny, and